With the 158th selection of the 2022 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks selected Ohio State edge rusher Tyreke Smith. This has been a theme in this draft for the Seahawks. They already had picked 2 offensive tackles and 2 corners. Now they have 2 edge rushers to put in Clint Hurtt's 3-4 defense. Tyreke Smith has a little different skill set than Boye Mafe. There are some similarities, at least on film. You don't see it in the athletic testing. Boye Mafe was much faster in the 40-yard dash, but there's some untapped athleticism in Tyreke Smith, and he plays faster than the 4.84 40-yard dash that he ran at the combine. He's got a more explosive first step than you would anticipate coming off the edge. He's got a nice set of counter moves, really sound hand technique, at least in the pass rushing game. As a run defender, he's a bit behind on that. And he didn't get a lot of snaps early in his career. Think about some of the players that have come through Ohio State at the edge rusher department. You had Nick Bosa, then you had Chase Young. Even in the past couple of years, you had Jonathan Cooper that got drafted. So it seems like they've had a lot of edge rushers that have really thrived in Columbus and then went into the NFL, and Tyreke Smith had to wait for his turn. There were also some injuries sprinkled in there as well, but this is a guy that plays with a relentless motor, and I think playing as an outside linebacker, even though from a speed standpoint he is far from an elite athlete, he plays quicker on the field. He's really more quick than fast, and that's okay when you're an edge defender. But I think given his run struggles as a defensive end in a 4-3 scheme, he's going to have a better chance of being able to set the edge as an overhang linebacker. I think that's going to suit him well. He's going to have to compete for a roster spot. At this stage of the draft, 5th round, they've already got Alton Robinson. They picked Boye Mafe. Darrell Taylor, Uchenna Nwosu expected to be the starters to that position. I think he's got a good shot to make the roster, but he's going to have to show that he can drop back in coverage, not something he did very much at Ohio State, and he's going to have to show that he can quickly make some adjustments as a run defender and hold up at the point of attack. That was the biggest issue looking at his tape. His pass rushing production was a bit odd because he had only 7 sacks, but he had a 20+% pressure rate each of the last 2 seasons, according to Pro Football Focus. So while the sack numbers aren't there, the disruption absolutely is. And this is a guy that could potentially come into the league if he can stay healthy, avoid some of the nagging injuries that he had at Ohio State. He could potentially be a player that has more sack production in the NFL than he did at college. If that happens, the Seahawks landed a really good value here in the middle of the 5th round.